Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Carizza Nafta. In this video, I will talk about grammatical errors and analyze them. So, the first sentence, polluter is a topic of such importance today that even elementary school children are well informed about its dangers. The incorrect word is polluter. It must be pollutant because the cause of pollution. And the second sentence, best represented in a famous oil painting by Da Vinci, The Last Supper. It is an important part of the history of Christianity. You have to remove the it because in one clause there should be only one subject and one predicate. Since in the above sentence there is a double subject, then the word it should be omitted. And next sentence, together with his friend Little John, Robin Hood are fondly remembered today by millions of people. The word are, it must be with, because noun after together with doesn't affect the change in predicate. In that sentence, that subject is Robin Hood, then the predicate should have been singular or past. The next sentence, in Vermont, the sap the maple tree is the primary ingredient in producing maple syrup. You have to add off before the maple tree, so it must be in Vermont, the sap of the maple tree is the primary ingredient in producing maple syrup. Why? Because the sentence has a double subject, so it should be added off before the maple tree. This is because the sap is a part of the maple tree. Next sentence. After to have won the 1945 Pulitzer Prize for a Bell for I Don't Know, John Hersey wrote a non-fiction book about the bombing of Japan. The word to have, it must be after having won. So the sentence, it must be after having won the 1945 Pulitzer Prize for a Bell for I Don't Know, John Hersey wrote a non-fiction book about the bombing of Japan. Because the word after as a preposition plus Quran, verb ing, and the word after as a conjunction plus clause, it must be subject plus predicate. So the sentence should be after having won. The next sentence, the smallest hummingbirds beat their wings 70 times a second and are about 2 inches long. The word 2 inches, it must be 2 inch because in this sentence is an adjective. The next sentence, quality, price, and located are often considered to be the primary concern in buying a house. The word located, it must be location. Why? The word located should be changed to location because equivalent to quality and price, which includes nouns. And next sentence, the name America comes from Amerigo Vespucci, who has a 16th century Italian explorer. The phrase comes from, it must be came from, because since the name America is taken from a 16th century Italian explorer. The supposed use of past tense or verb to, so it should be came from. The next sentence. Together with his friend Little John, Robin Hood are fondly remembered today by millions of people. The sentence are it must be with. And the next sentence. Marie Curie won the Nobel Prize for their discoveries of radioactive and radioactive elements. The word there, it must be her. Why? Because since it's referred to Marie Curie, it's singular or female. So the pronoun that should be worn is her. So let's go to the next sentence. The developing of the submarine was hindered by the lack of a power source that could propel an underwater vessel. The word developing, it's incorrect. So it must be development. Why? Because the word in front of it must be in the form of a noun, and the noun form of developing is development. Okay, next sentence. Although humans have highly developed brains, most animals have acuter sense than them. The first than them is incorrect. It must be than theirs. Why? Because it refers to position or have more acute sense. The comparison that should be used is than theirs. The movement of the stars was first noticed by early travelers who used the stars to guide its way across the sea. The word it's incorrect. It must be there. Why? Because the word it should be replaced with there because it refers to travels. It's a plural. And the next sentence. Those who have seen what is believed to be Noah's Ark says it is the larger than a modern battleship. The first, the largest, it must be, it is larger than. Why? The word than indicates that the sentence is a comparative comparison, so it should be, it is larger than. Next sentence. Ethnology, usually considered a branch of cultural anthropology, is often defined as the scientific study of the origin and functioning of human and their culture. The word scientifically, it must be scientific, because supposed to form non-phrase, but the use of scientifically, it's an adverb, is not appropriated because the word applied is a noun. The word that should be used is scientific, it's adjective. Next sentence. The one fluid theory of electricity was proposed by Benjamin Franklin, a man famous for his wide interest and great enlightenment. The sentence was proposing. It must be was proposed. Why? Because the sentence should form a passive sentence, so it must be be plus verb 3. Because there is a by word, so the predicate in the sentence should have been proposed by. Next sentence. Probably not speech of so few words has ever been as celebrated as Lincoln Gettysburg Address. the first not speech, it must be no speech, because the use of speech in the sentence above is not appropriated because it cannot be used together with notes. So the phrase you should be no speech. Next sentences. Generally, abstract expressionist art is without recognizable image and does not adhere the limits of conventional form. The phrase adhere the limits. It must be adhere to the limits. The word adhere followed by object must use to. So the phrase used should adhere to the limits. The next sentence is: the fiction writer, poetry, and critic Edgar Allan Poe is among the most familiar of American writers and one of the most enigmatic. The word poetry, it must be poet. Why? Because the word combines equivalent words, in this case writer, poetry, and critic. However, the usage of poetry is inappropriate as it means poetry, while other two words are writer and critic, which is a profession. So the poetry it should be replaced to poet. The last sentence. Mitosis is the normal process by which a cell divides its new cell, ending up with the same number of chromosomes as the parent cell. The word a, it must be the, because the word same is not prefixed by the article a because it indicates sometimes definite. So the correct article is the. So that's all for me for grammatical analysis error, and thank you for watching.